Hello, class. This week I was going to have you go ahead and complete control charts and different data charts for week 12, but I realized you just have one more week of data to collect, so I didn't want to make assignments redundant. So go ahead and collect your week 13 data next week, and then these different charts and assignments I'm making won't be due until the following week. So you'll have plenty of time to get things completed and also to ask me questions, because I know this is all new. We're diving in now to the data driven part of this course and using Excel, and this is all new territory. So don't struggle with it. Watch the videos I'm creating, but also reach out to me by phone or text, and we can always set up a call or set up a Zoom meeting to walk through things together. So let's take a look here at the data collection form you've been keeping track of. So you've either been keeping track of information on M&Ms or Skittles, they're very much the same, or potato chips or some sort of chip. So if we look first here at this data, this is just some data I put together as an example. If we go over, and I'll be providing this sheet here by ASQ, and you guys have done this before. So here you're going to enter in your number of broken pieces, missing logo, and irregular or missing or incomplete logo. You're going to do that for all 13 weeks, okay? So just go through and enter that in, and just be careful that you don't have any typos or anything. So double check that work. And once you'll see I've entered in all the data from here onto this sheet, then whenever I click through, remember, it creates the histogram. So this histogram is at best skewed over to one side, but almost more like sawtooth, you know, up and down, up and down. Then it also creates a bar chart, which is great because I can see there's one really standout defect, and that's the missing logo. And then it also creates the Pareto chart. So then from here, I really know what my top issues are. And in this case, we only have 3 for the candy. So I want you to choose the top 2. Yours might be different from mine. Mine were missing logo and irregular shape. So at this point, you're going to go over to an Excel sheet that I've created, and we'll be looking at that information. And what you would do is then enter that data into the spreadsheet. Let me just bring that up for you. Okay. So here on my control charts, since we were looking previously at the candy, I would put in here broken pieces and missing logo. And then I would just enter that information here. So the only thing I'm touching is here in this yellow highlighted column, okay? Because everything else already will do the work for you. I have the formulas in there. So then I would go back to my sheet here that I created on the check sheet for my candy, and I would put in the information. So if I look at broken pieces for week 1, I have 1. And I just enter those all in. So we'll do 1, and then I'll try to get this to stay up here. Okay, 1, 1, 3. And you just carefully enter all that information in. Keep entering until we get all the information in here. Okay. And what it does is it creates this information here. Now, we're looking at candy and not chips, so you can click on these and change it. So I would just change this to say, this title here to say broken pieces. And you can click the X and it'll always bring it back up, chart title. So I'm going to call this broken pieces. And then over here, obviously we're not looking at chips, so we'll change it from curled pieces to broken pieces. And it'll be whatever your top two were on your Pareto chart that you generated. And it'll be different for everyone, or maybe it'll be the same. It'll be interesting to see as you guys present your data. Broken pieces, and then the weeks are the same, and everything else is the same. So you can look now at this data and see this orange line is the average or mean, and then this gray line is a lower control limit, which is 3 standard deviations down from the average line, and the upper control limits, which are 3 standard deviations in the positive direction from the median or average line. And we can see from here that we say pretty stable, and we're definitely in control because there's no dots outside of the control limits. Okay, and then you would just do the same thing for the missing logo over here. Enter that information and it would populate. And then the next thing you would do is create a P chart where you'd put the total number of your candy here, okay, from your chart, and the total number of defects. So that would be, looking at your check sheet, you would put this number, the total number of all 3 of these defects. And for chips, it's actually 4 defects. So we'll look at that check sheet here in a moment. So I would put in my total number of defects here, 26, 14, and so on. And then it would populate the percentage of defective candy or chips, because it's just dividing 47 by 47 times 100, and we get 100%. And it goes all the way down. So you guys might find that a lot of times every single piece had some sort of defect with it. And then maybe sometimes it didn't. Now, when we look here again at our control chart, there's really nothing out of control. We notice week 3 though. That's when we had the least amount of percentage of defects. So what happened there? We might want to repeat that. That was a good anomaly. So we might consider looking into that more, but it's right there on the lower control limits. So again, all of our data points are within the upper and lower control points. So the process is in control. Okay, so that's those control charts. I want to walk you through really carefully. And like I said, you'll just change information based upon what your top 2 Paretos are here, whether you're looking at chips or you're looking at M&Ms, whatever that is, you'll change that information here. So let's now go back and look at that data sheet from ASQ for our chips, okay? Because it looks a little different. You have more defects here. So for the chips, we're going to have broken pieces, curled pieces, flat pieces, and irregular shapes. So if I scroll over here, here's the data I've kept on all the chips for the 13 weeks. And then again, I'm just bringing up that Excel sheet and carefully logging my numbers here. So broken pieces week 1, 7. Broken pieces week 2, 8, and so on, all the way through. And just making sure that I carefully enter this data, because then it's going to create a histogram. And we can see my histogram is kind of sawtooth here, kind of up and down, up and down. It's not really very regular. And then we can take a look at the bar chart. Any standouts? It looks like curled pieces are the biggest issue, but Pareto will really line those up. And remember, with the chips, you have 4 different issues to consider, and you're going to then make your control charts on the top 2. So in this case, I'm making it on curled pieces and broken pieces. And then I just take this data from the curled pieces and broken pieces and go back over to my control charts and I would change them, okay, to this would be now curled pieces here, okay, and then just enter the data in the appropriate fields. And over here on the P chart, you have a couple of different places to enter it. Here in the total number and the total number of defects. You will not actually enter any information here because this is calculated. So I'm going to unhighlight that for you so you know. We're just filling in on the P chart, which will give us that percentage of defects. We're going to enter the total number of our Candido chips and the total number of defects. And in these columns, we're just putting in the broken pieces, the missing logo, the curled chips, whatever the top two issues were from these Pareto charts that were formed. Okay, I know that was a lot of information. I know some of you may be even more astute at using Excel than I am, and that's wonderful. Send me your pointers or ideas. And others of you might be, this is totally out of my realm. If you have any problems or concerns, please don't struggle. I'm giving you a whole week to get this done. And if you need any assistance, you're going to call me or text me, or at the very least email me, and we're going to set up a call or a Zoom so we can walk through this together. I'm here to help you. I don't want anyone to struggle, and I want to see you all succeed and see your data that you've been collecting over these 13 weeks really come to life. So I thank you all in advance for your participation and your input. It's been a pleasure so far working with all of you and teaching all of you. Have a great week, and we're into week 13.